What's it like to live as a female expat in Asia? Are there some pitfalls that people don't talk about? And how am I going to make new friends in my new place? Well, if you're interested in the expatriate lifestyle as a woman or anybody, a man, then you're in the right place, because my name is Wendy, and for more than 3 decades I've lived and worked in 5 different countries in Asia, and I still live in Asia, now in Thailand. And today I want to talk about your stuff, all of your precious stuff that you've collected over the years that you love. If you're going to become an expat, are you going to bring all that stuff with you? And what sort of things should you bring, and what sort of things should you just let go? So I'm sure you're familiar with this idea of Swedish death cleaning. It sounds very morbid, but actually it's a smart thing to think about as we start to age, particularly if you're retiring to a new place. Are you really going to bring grandma's crockery, even though you love it, love it, love it? Or are you going to hand it over to someone who's going to get better use out of it? The Swedes work on this principle that, why not give it to people who you love, your stuff to people who you love while you're still alive, and you can see them enjoying it. And that's not a bad idea. Even Marie Kondo's, does it bring me joy thing. It's a smart way to live. Minimalist living is not a bad way to live. So go ahead and start to think about what you don't need to bring, because there's some very practical things about moving your stuff, especially to Southeast Asia, that you need to think about. One of the things that you have to think about is you're probably going to move to a smaller living space. So apartments in Asia tend to be smaller. You can, of course, get a house or a villa, something like that. But be aware that things like storage and closet space, it's not as much. There's not as much in Asia as you might have at home. So all of the things you think, oh, that's all right, I'll bring it and I'll put it away in the cupboards. You might not have the cupboards to put it away in, or you might find yourself living in a studio apartment, so you just don't have the space anyway. The truth of the matter is that scientists show us, social scientists show us, that there's an 80-20 rule with our stuff. We've got 100% of stuff, and we use 20% of it a lot of the time, and 80% of the stuff that we have we don't even really use. So do you really need to bring that stuff with you? Is it time to let go of those things that are not bringing you as much joy, and maybe sharing them with other people who might love them a little bit more? Try not to put them in landfill. That's not very sustainable. But, give some things away if you can. One of the really important things to remember if you're moving to Southeast Asia in particular, but any of the more humid climates, is that the stuff that you love, like your very favorite high heel shoes and your amazing leather bag and your beautiful leather belts, they are going to die in the humidity. Hong Kong, where I used to live for a long time, is notorious for its humid summers. Thailand is humid year round. So is Malaysia. So is Vietnam. So these kinds of countries, they have such a high level of humidity that if you leave your beautiful leather goods in a cupboard even for 2 weeks, you are going to discover the most extraordinary fungi and mushrooms, some of which I'm sure is totally toxic, and that's going to eat your stuff. You're going to put on your very, very favorite sandals that you had, bought especially when you were in Italy, and they will crumble under your feet. The same goes for running shoes, anything that's got rubber around it as well. It deteriorates so easily in these climates. So think about that before you think you're going to pack up all of those things and bring them over to Asia with you. I promise you, there's not a single female expat in Asia who has not been distraught when she went to use her very favorite thing and it just fell apart because it's just so warm and sticky in a lot of these countries. You also want to think about import restrictions. So perhaps you've got, an amazing bar and you've collected all these amazing liqueurs and you think, I'll bring these with me. No, you're not going to be able to do that either. Number one, you might get taxed out of existence. And number two, they just might not let you bring them in. So there are import restrictions on a lot of things. You don't need to be paying 2 times what you paid for something in an import tax of a half empty bottle of brandy. Just leave it behind, okay? You don't need that stuff. And of course, when it comes to electrical goods, particularly if you're coming from the States, remember that the voltage is going to be different. Now, you can get these converters, I know, but it's a fire hazard. Just don't do it. If you're looking at, hair straightening tongs, or even your hair dryer or your favorite iron, or whatever electrical things you think you're going to bring with you, don't do it. Don't bring them. right? Especially from the States, because it's not compatible in Asia. Your stuff is not compatible in Asia from the voltage. So you're not going to need that stuff. Do not pack that as well. The best way that you can get ready if you've decided to become an expat and you're going to move to a country in Asia is start thinking about what you really need to take with you about 3 to 6 months before you get on the plane, because it's going to take you that time to go through all of your bits and pieces, and you'll start to realize as you divulge yourself of all of these things that you can probably live without them. Minimalist living is a good way to live, especially when you're coming to a new country. So don't worry about having things just in case. Worst case scenario, you can buy it again. For me personally, I'm someone who's a light traveler. So even when I go overseas, for let's say 4 weeks in Europe, I try and take as little as I can. If I run out of knickers, I just buy some new knickers, ladies. It's not that difficult, If my lipstick didn't make the cut, I'll buy a new lipstick when I get to a new place. You don't want to be spending a lot of money when you move to a new country, but nothing is, we're not living on Mars here. We're just in a new place. You'll find those other things. So if you don't need to bring it, don't bring it. You need to remember to focus on the experiences you're going to have, not the things that are in your possession. You're going to have a whole new life. You're going to do something fun and exciting. Focus on the great, fun, exciting things you're going to have. If you don't have that dress that you always loved, but it doesn't quite fit now, so you'll take it anyway because later you'll lose weight. Oh, come on, girls. We know what that's like. Okay. Just donate that beautiful dress to a niece or to a women's shelter and let it be done. Let it have another life like that. You can always buy new things if you need to, and you can always adapt. You've got to be prepared to embrace this new lifestyle that you're going to have, which is a fun, exciting new place to live, meeting new people, learning new cultures and doing all of that stuff. Don't forget, when it comes to moving to a new country, less is more. Now, in my own case, I will tell you a funny story because this is the opposite of what I've just told you. But many years ago, I arrived in Hong Kong with a partner then, with 2 suitcases and a really tiny baby. And by the time I left Asia the first time, I've been back and forth, I left with 3 children and a 20-foot container. I can assure you that 20-foot container did not come back with us to Asia. So it's just stuff. Let it go, it'll be fine. Think about what you're going to need to bring with you, which is basically the bare minimum, and work up from there. And if you do need things back, okay, just buy them again. I hope that's been helpful to you. I hope you're having a lovely day. If you'd like to find out more about the expat lifestyle, feel free to click one of these things that I hope pops up. And in the meantime, I nearly forgot. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I would really appreciate it, and it certainly does help the algorithm. I hope you have a great day, and we'll speak again soon. Bye.